making in the night? I made this. Pa-ba! Oh, Ruben likes it. Ruben's with me this morning. You can probably see I've probably got bits of Ruben all over me. Come and say good morning to everybody. Here's Ruben. Hello, love. You all right? Yeah. Is that puppy being noisy? Yeah, she is, isn't she? Oh, yeah. Well, it's been a long day so far, hasn't it? I hope you're well. What have you been up to? Since we last spoke, my goodness me. Yeah, it's been a bit crazy, really. So yesterday we had our Zoom call with Jane, and that was lovely. And no, you can't pull me. I can't come play. We're working now, Ruben. No, don't slime me. Go on your bed. Go on. Off you go. So we had our Zoom call with Jane yesterday with our members, and that was lovely. And in that, very quickly, before I forget, we talked about the price of rotary cutters, because I said that I changed my rotary blade before I went to Create and Craft at the weekend, and had that thing of why didn't I do this before? Because blades are really expensive normally, but I have found titanium coated blades, not titanium all the way through, but just coated, so their endurance. A normal titanium blade will cost you over £10 for one blade, one rotary cutter blade. I've managed to get 10. They should be £24.99 for 20 quid for you today. I've only got 2 kits left. I'll see if I can get some more later. Obviously, members had first dibs on that yesterday because they were on the Zoom call. Yesterday, we gave you an interview with Kaif to watch instead. Kaif and Brandon. Excuse me, it's coffee time. Which was so lovely to see them. I always come away feeling so inspired having spoken to them. So that was really lovely. If you haven't watched it, it's an hour long. They're just joyful. Grab yourself a coffee, sit down and enjoy it. Off the back of that, we offered you a free Kaif book worth up to £30, depending on which one you picked. When you spent over £100 with us yesterday, you cannot say fairer than that. Ruben, you can just go around that and get into your bed. Don't make this look difficult. It's not. You've gone the wrong way, haven't you? He's very handsome. It's not a lot going on. He's not the sharpest tool in the box. Oh, you really do. Should we say hello to everybody before I insult this poor hound anymore? Just turn the volume down. So yeah, rotary cutter blades, they were a thing yesterday. The Kaif deal, we'll hold that for you today, just in case you haven't had chance to realise that yet. Now then, let's find where we are on air today. Ba, 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 ba. Woo! Oh, we've got some of you with us already. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. So we've got Sophie with us. Good morning. Sharon, hello. Joe, hello. And hi, Joy. Good morning. Natasha, good morning, everybody. Jane's here. Not our Jane. Our Jane's poorly sick this morning, so she's not in. But we have got Wiz in with us today. And Daniela, so we're all good. Joy's here, Gina's here, good morning. Pat's here, Jane's here from a damp Wiltshire. Lots of Janes here today. And on that there YouTube, we have got Blodwyn Axworthy, which is possibly the best name I have ever heard. I feel like it's very medieval. And if you don't do like the, you know, there's like, you can do the reenactments. If I were to do reenactments, I would be Blodwyn Axworthy, but just because I like wielding a sword in my spare time. Reenactment, thank you, Gemma. Gemma finishes my sentences. When menopausal brain fog hits, then generally it's always good to have a friend that knows what you're trying to say. She speaks quite good Tash. But I mean, just a great name. Morning, Jan, how you doing? And Sue's joining us as well, and Auntie Lizzie. I was up with Gemma last night until nearly 11 o'clock last night, processing the post to try and get back on top of all of that for you. So I know, Sue, the only reason that I say that is because I know that at least one of those parcels in there is for you. So we are getting on top of all of that. We didn't know Jane was going to be poorly today, but we are on top. Anne says, good morning, everyone. Lovely to be able to join you live. Thank you. And Nikki's here, Auntie Lizzie's here. Hello, hello, hello. Right. What else have I got for you? So they flew out when we brought them on air the other week. I've managed to get a few more, not many, but this bag is not zipped at the top. It has a magnetic clasp, one of the up and over and clamp jobs. I've got some more. I've got some in antique brass and in black. They will be loaded for today's show. Yes, 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 yes. They're perfect for this bag. Absolutely perfect. You could do a clipper, popper, anything like that, but I just think it adds a bit more zhuzh. We've also got a zip, easiest zip you will ever put in. And look, looky, looky, looky. Ah, the velvety leopard print fun carries on all the way down there. Now, when I was designing this, I'm not gonna lie, it's got a bit of a funny name. It's called the Square-ish handbag because it's almost square, but not quite, is ish. And rectangular bag just doesn't have the same thing. So Jim's like, you can't call it the Square-ish bag. I can, and I will, because I'm designing it. So if we've had a chubbier bottomed pouch, then we can have a square-ish bag, right? So that's what we've got for you today. And the kit has got the zip in, the cork, the velvet, the lining. We're good. We're good. We'll show you those in a minute. And what else, what else, what else? But then I thought, well, hang on, hang on. If you want an easy and an even easier way with no tabs or anything, if you just want it as a clutch, clutch. I'm going to do two versions. So if you want it just as a clutch, like that. Cork on one side, velvet on the other. Still with velvet lined pocket. So you can just, you know, there. Then you can. I really, really like this. I need to give it a good press, but I do love this. It reminds me of a bumblebee. This would be, I would call this a bumblebee bag. And let me just change the angle so you can see it. Don't tell me my session has ended, because it clearly hasn't, because I'm clearly still here. Technology is trying to tell me what's what. It's not going to work, is it? Here we go. Yeah. Kind of feel like this is almost like a bumblebee situation. So when I first put this kit together, I was like, well, that's fine. We'll have a nice midnight blue. And then when I made it, because I didn't have a blue zip, I had a black zip. And then I had the black magnetic clasps. Once I'd made it, I was like, no, that needs to be a black lining. So whilst my sample has a navy lining, yours will have black. And it'll be like a bumblebee. And the thing is, what you could do is afterwards, you could always add a little tab on there, rivet it on. So if you do still want to have it as a clutch, but we'll go into that because I'm going to make both versions for you today. Yes, that is the challenge I have set myself today. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. But at some point this morning, I did think it was. The other big news for you today is that we are launching brand new Tilda. This is pre-sale. This is pre-sale. It comes in at the end of the month. We can post it out from the 1st of October. So that's Tuesday next week. We can post it out. We have done you some incredible pre-order deals. Please, please, please do check that out. If you love Tilda, in fact, let me tell you. And if you are a Natasha Makes Designs member, not only do you get the discounts that are on the website, but you get a further 10% if you are the premium member. That costs an extra £10 a month, right? So to join the Natasha Makes Designs members, it's $6.99 if you want a premium membership, because the $6.99 basically pays for your website, your Zoom workshops, and all the patterns and everything that are on the site. Oh, the deals are in the Tilda chat. Okay, all right. But I will just tell you some of them anyway, because they're somewhere. They're somewhere. Gemma put them in here somewhere. Deals are here. Yeah, here we go. So we've got an extra special low price for launch today. If you are a Natasha McCarthy Designs Premium member, then you're going to use your discount code. All right. So we are launching a mega deal, which equates to £7.25 per half metre. These should be over £8 a metre now. Okay. And if you would like all of them, the entire collection, here we go. Then if you are a McCarthy Design member, that works out at £6.52 per half metre with the mega bundle deal with everything in there. Now we have done, you know how we normally have 4 different colourways with Tilda with 5 fabrics for each colourway. That's how Tilda always does her collections. There's going to be one year that she doesn't, and I stand corrected, but in the main, that's how she does them. Those colourways you can buy by the long quarter increment. So the prices on the website are for the bundles of 5, okay? If you don't want the full shebang, and there's a discount on those. If you want a half metre bundle, you put 2 in your basket. We are cutting all of these to order. If you want 3/4 of a metre of those bundles, then you put 3 in there. If you want a metre, you put 4 in there, and so on and so forth. We have done a very good price on the 10 blenders. That's an incredible price on there as well. And so 4 different colorways, each containing 5 fabrics in quarter. Yes, if you are with the design lot, then it's going to come down to £17.54. These should be £8.49 per half metre. But the intro price for it, cut to order, if there's just 1 or 2 that you absolutely love, intro price, we've taken 50p off that, so that's £1 off a metre, is £7.99. I'm hoping that makes sense, but if you go on the website, you're going to see what it is. And we love cork with Tilda. This was one of the makes that we made last time. We had the Tilda in. It's all rather gorgeous, all in your Tilda fabrics, and then with the cork, and then lined so that you can put your iPad or whatever in there, all lined with Tilda as well. So Tilda and cork is always a beautiful one. So you could be making this with your new Tilda as well, if you just want to buy the cork. If you want to do something with a little bit more, we still have a little bit of some of these fabrics in here. These are your velvets. And these are by the, I think these are by the half metre. Let me change it. Well, let me put this up here so that you can see. Yeah, so we cannot show you the Tilda fabrics yet. There is an embargo on it. It's one of those crazy things. We can put them on our website and we can tell you that they are there, and you can go and you can buy them. And if you've bought enough Tilda in the past, then you will know that Tilda fabrics are delicious, absolutely gorgeous, and you will know the quality of them. A few years ago now, Tuna, who is the designer, Tuna Fananga is the designer for Tilda, she swapped the mills where her fabrics were being created, and the shrinkage went from 5 to 7%, which is normal, that is standard across the board for cotton fabric, went down to 3% shrinkage. The weave is incredible on these. It's all Okioto-Tex, so if you want to make, which means there's no nasty chemicals in the dyes, which means that if you are making for children, it's safe. Really important. Or anyone, actually. Doesn't matter the age, does it? You still want to be safe. So, let's take a little hit here. This is one of the fabrics that you could do for today's make, if you wanted to. So rather than have your leopard print, you could fussy cut. Reuben, shh. You could fussy cut your butterfly or something like that instead, or a bit of your bird. You could do that. Reuben, shush. Go back on your bed, please. Back on your bed. Back on your bed. You won't be allowed to be a studio dog if you make lots of noise. You can come and bark at the velvets if you like. The other velvet that I've got for you today that is very, very beautiful, and again, some of you may have seen these. I don't assume that you lot watch every day that we do a show. So bear with me if some of you have seen these. But also, This is rather beautiful too. So again, you could, if I just show you for sizing, you could fussy cut a bit of that for there. And that would also be very, very gorgeous. Reuben, go back on your bed. Good boy. Bed. Wrong way. Bed. So that's your velvets for today. The big news today really is the Tilda. We have got kits for today, so let's show you those. Also on today's show, I've only got 5 of these, but I do want to show you them. Are these. Now, we do have some of the silicone brushes, we've got a set of, is it 4 or 5s of the cleaning brushes for your sewing machine, but I have got 5 of these kits. You get 2 stitch unpickers. I don't know if you've seen me use these. I use these all the time on my sewing machine when I need to change a needle or do whatever. If this has got a little bit squashed in the post, just give it a little rub and that comes right. So you can get in and you can dust everything. You've got tweezers. So this is your ultimate sort of sewing machine care guide, if you like, care kit. These little silicone brushes, the ones that we've got, if you just want those, they're just a plain black version. You've got those little screwy bits and those as well, so that you can unscrew pretty much everything that is on your sewing machine. I only have 5 of these, that's it. But they are very, very useful. So maybe if you're buying yourself some hardware or something, maybe pop that in your basket. But that is it. We like. I can seal that off now. There we go. Perfect. Right, so for today's make, I have got various bundles for you. They come with a fat quarter of cork, which is wide. Cork comes on a really long bolt. Same with the velvet. So they are wide, big fat quarters, and a ½ metre of your lining and a ½ metre of zip and a pull. That's what is in each of these bundles. So let's take a look. Am I already on there? Yeah, there we go. So if you want this beautiful dusky pink, like my brain had gone last night when I was writing my little labels. It's like it's a pinky velvet. Yes, it is a pinky velvet. And you've got a ½ metre of cream. It's finding that same colour value for me, and that cream has the same delicate, dusky kind of softness there. And I've put that with the small grain cork. And there is, this is your beige zip. Normally you will not hear me use beige for anything, but there's a softness with that beige that works so well with these colours and also with the cork. Love it. You can see it. You can see here how well that just tones in. Now, when I did the clutch version with the black and I purposefully I've used the dark grain to then use the darker zip, to use the darker hardware, just to make a real statement, but it's up to you. You can just use the beige and then that just blends in and you get this look instead. So it's up to you. So you have that version. I also have, hang on, Gemma's message. What do you want, Gemma La? Is the velvet the rose? Yes, it is. But late last night, I couldn't remember what my name was, let alone what colour it was. So yes, it is the rose. Gemma's loading these as we speak. So we have got here that beautiful mustardy ochre colour. We've got your black zip, your black lining, and your dark. There's a zip pull there somewhere as well. And your dark grain. There it is. There it is. And then if you want to go for the olive green, I've put the olive. Oh, these are so beautiful. I've put the olive with the large grain cork and then the nude. And again, just bringing those colours gently in together. We will demo in all of these colourways this morning, so you will see what all of these look like made up, so that you can make your mind up as to which one. And if you are heading towards, of course, spending £100 with us today, if you're getting your Tilda or some of these kits, then remember you can add in your free cave book. This is your leopard print. It's called, I want to say Pumba. It's not quite Pumba. It's something like that. Gemma will tell me. I keep getting confused and going all Lion King on it. It's not Pumba at all, but it's something like that. But we've also put leopard print because Gemma's aware that if I can't remember, what choice do you guys have? Chance do you guys have? So this is the gold sparkle cork. Because if you go in leopard print, you may as well go gold as well, right? And it's not too in your face. I love this bag, so I don't care. That's your choices there. I love it. I'm happy with it. I'm happy. That's what matters. You could probably get, you'd need a little bit more zip and another pull, but you could probably get another, you could get another make out, you'd get 2 makes out of that. You just need a bit of extra zip and pull. Right, here we go. These were also mentioned on yesterday's Zoom. I put this up on Facebook as well. We have got an incredible deal on trios, half-metre trios, and fat quarter trios actually of Lewis and Irene. So if you would like these, then you can get them for $16.65 for 3 half-metres, or 3 fat quarters for $19.99. You'd pay the extra £6, wouldn't you? And get a half-metre if you could, if budgets allow, and all that. So we've got that, or new fabrics that we haven't seen. Look at this, you've got all the British birds. Normally when we have fabric with birds on, it's from the States, and you end up with a red cardinal, which we don't have here. But obviously this is perfect because it's UK birdies, and there we go. And then you've got owls and swallows and foxes and deer and rabbits and all sorts in there. So if you would like this, same deal, $16.65 for 3 half-metres, or $9.99 for a fat quarter bundle of the 3. I know some of you saw them and had already got involved, but not everyone's on Facebook all day, every day. I do also have to realise that. Okay, so I've done a little bit of prep to get us ahead. When I say prep, I mean I've cut stuff. I've simply cut some stuff. That's it. That's all I've done. So for this version here, we will do it with tabs. So I'm going to need a couple of D-rings. And we've got bundles of D-rings and things. Do I want them that big? Do I want them that big, or do I want them slightly smaller? The width of this piece of cork here is going to be determined by the width of yours. So the D-rings that I just pulled out were inch long. These ones aren't. So you're going to cut your cork to whatever the width of. I think this is a 3/4 of an inch one. So I'm just going to trim that back. So that will fit beautifully. And we can start off by making those tabs. That's no bother at all. And then we'll have them tab ready. So you're just going to, so let's talk about how we've done this. We cut a strip of cork. Now, let's have a look at our bundles. This is a fat quarter of cork. For this kit, I've used that, that, and that, which means that I can do another one. And I've got some to spare up here, okay? So this kit is really good value, basically. Yeah. It's not very fabric heavy. So you're going to cut a strip and then subcut. You've got all your measurements in your instructions. You are going to interface the back of your cork with Styleville. You're going to interface the back of your velvet with H640, and then you're not going to interface your two lining pieces at all. These are almost squares. It's a square-ish bag. And, but let's make these. We'll do the pocket, and then we're good to construct. This is not a difficult make. It really isn't at all. And I love that about it. That's pretty cool. So we're going to pop those together like so. It's a bit overkill, isn't it, on on that front, on the clip front. But we'll gloss over that. It's all good. Right, and then we're just going to baste those together. I don't have a special needle. You can use a denim needle. If you're worried in any way, you can use a denim needle, which is slightly stronger. To be honest, because I change my needle regularly, I tend to stick just with an 80 or a 90 when I'm sewing this cork, because it's easy to do that. And we're going to pop those to one side for now. Okay. So let's look at this pocket. We're going to cut a strip. So we cut one big piece. Now we're going to cut it into two. So we're going to cut an 1.5 inch strip off there. Have I squared that up? Yeah. You're going to want your quilters wash away tape, because we do in pretty much every make that I make these days. Quilters wash away tape, where is it? And you want to trim your zip down to the width of your bag. Okay? And we're going to run a little bit of tape along there, like so. And a little bit of tape along there. Now, here's the thing. I wanted the continuity of the velvet to run all the way down. So this is going to sit here, like so, okay? So when you open it up, you still get that velvet down there. The back of this cork has already got a fabric on there. If you wanted to, then you could bond a different coloured fabric. If you wanted to match it to your lining, you could bond that on there and you're done. But we're not fraying here, so I don't feel the need to add more layers and stuff, more depth or anything like that. This is going to work just fine. So I'm going to take off that strip there. Wow. And pop that right sides together. And we are going to stitch down that side. Move that out of the way. Now what I have done here is suggest that you then top stitch. And the way that it wants to go is back on itself towards the zip. You don't want to do that. When you top stitch it, we want to push that zip down flat and hold it down, pin it down there. Okay. And it's going to, it's going to shout about that a little bit. But once you've got a couple of stitches or you've got it clipped out the way, then it's fine. It's just folded on top of itself. And honestly, away you go. It's no problem. And we're going to do that on the other side. So we've got that top bit sewn in. And now we're going to repeat exactly the same process on the bottom here. So line up those edges there. And exactly the same process. We're going to stitch down. So as zips go, this is pretty simple. So again, just folding that under and top stitching to keep that zip down. Keep that seam away from the back end of your zip. Okay. So now what we're going to do is take our velvet, decide which way you want the nap to go. It's going to be this way up, in which case we're going to just pop this here, like so. Now you see when that's sewn down, that will come in line there. So we're going to clip that in place either side, and we will do this twice so you'll get to see this all again. And we're going to sew that down, okay? So we've got all of that clipped. Make sure it's lined up nicely where you want it to be. Okay. Now we're going to turn this over. We're going to line up that base of the cork along your bottom edge there. And this was the easiest way that I could write it, because everybody has a slightly different foot when they insert a zip, and trying to get you, or uses a different zipper tape width or this, that and the other. So this was the easiest way that I could think to do it. Just kind of squish it. Just squish it, clip it and top stitch it. That's it. Actually, before we do that, you know what we do need to do, and that is put the zip pull in. That's going to be really useful before we get into all of that. So I've tried, just in the interests of market research for you, I've tried these. Now, firstly, when it was sent to me, it was squashed. So that instantly made me think, I don't think I will stock these. I've got two that I will load. This is a size 3, this is a size 5. They are far more expensive than the ones that we sell. And you can only do a size 3 and a size 5 on there, whereas ours, you can do pretty much any size on. But some of you will like the fact that it stands up. So I do have 2 to add to the website later. That will be Gemma going, what? No, you can't show us this. Hang on, let me just get this even. So yeah, I did, because I'm always interested in any way that's going to make it easier. Size 3, size 5. It's not my favourite, but some of you might absolutely love it. Right, let's go again, shall we? We're going to clip that down like so. And like so. And then literally just fold that down. Now what that means is that we can top stitch that down. Whoops, oh, don't take your zip off. Oh, that's silly, isn't it? Bear with, I'm not thinking, am I? Let's put that zip back on, shall we? It's a good job. It's easy to do, isn't it? Do you remember when inserting a zip pull was just like, ugh, the end? Right, let's try that again. That on there, that on there. Try not to whip your entire zip off. That's going to work a treat. And then we're just going to top stitch down there. Okay. Now, I didn't go into lots and lots of different measurements and this, that and the other, because like I say, it could get really, really complicated. All I wanted was for a way to you to be able to open this pocket, see the velvet underneath, have the cork there. And away we go. So now what you've got is your pocket in place there. I would, before you do that, I would do that zip up properly. I should have done, just to make sure that everything lines up. I'm slightly skew if that's on me. So just make sure that you do that when you do yours. Right, now we are now going to put these right sides together and stitch around the edge, okay? Around 3 sides. And if you want to, you can add a little seam guide. Now, people, we've been asked for seam guides, so I have bought these. We've got a couple of them left. So you can put your, it's this way, you can put your needle in there and then you line up your seam guides to whatever seam size you want. And these, you get 2 magnetic seam guides. There shouldn't be on your machine. There are very few that have anything under here. That means you can't use one of these. I know that I have got no computerized anything underneath there on this machine, so I'm very happy to use a magnet on mine. Please just check your own machine, do your own research before you use one. That is my disclaimer, so that if you do anything silly, you don't get cross with me. It's as simple as that. So we're going to sew down. If you want to increase your stitch length, then you can. And then we're going to sew along the bottom. And just in having that seam guide there, I know that I'm going to be sewing the same all the way around. For me, I find it much easier, especially when I'm working, when I'm making bags. I'm working with anything that's kind of plush in any way. Yeah. And that is your outer bag bit done. Now I can see that if you want to trim anything back, tidy anything up, then you can. I've obviously had a cat sit on my Starville fix. I took a whole load back home, and the cats do like a bit of Starville fix. They will always, I take rolls home for demoing, and they do love it. It's weird, isn't it, what your cats choose to love? But Starville is one. So you can see there, that is our outer bit done. Now, let me just go backwards and forwards there. If we are going to add in these, check I'm on the right camera angle, yes we are, then I'm going to put them in D shape size down, and I'm just going to base them in place across there, across those side seams, because it just makes it easier if I know I've got them in. Because next up is the lining. This, like I say, this is not a difficult make by any means. So just a parting of the ways there, and then pop that halfway. If you've got one of those, sewing machines, and this isn't it, this is my little tabletop industrial. If you have one of those machines where you can take out for sleeve insertion, that's handy with this size make. Okay, so we're now going to make our lining. I'm going to leave a hole in the side for turning through, otherwise I'm going to sew around 3 sides using exactly the same seam allowance that I did for my outer. And that's really important. If you increase your seam allowance for any reason for the outer, please increase it for your lining. Now, if I'm using anything other than 1/4 of an inch, sometimes I find it hard to eyeball it. So I will just sew off one end and then come back on and sew. And if you want to clip those edges, so reduce any bulk, then of course you can. And we're going to turn that right side out and pop this in so it is then right sides together. Okay, now the thing to always check, I match seam to seam. And just check that that is not baggy anywhere. Okay. No, that should be okay. And then again, I'm going to stitch around here. Keeping, and again, I'm going to use the seam guide here to help me keep a nice level seam as I sew around. And then I pull the bag around so that I'm constantly setting myself up with a straight line to stitch, even though it's a circular situation that we're kind of sewing through. And so we've stitched around the top, and we're going to turn it through that turning through gap. And try and get the corky bit out first. There we go. So this has been a couple of months in the designing, for the simple reason that the first idea of it that I had didn't work quite right for me. It was so many layers and linings and this and that. I was like, no, that's just complicated. So I put it to one side and I thought about it for a while. And then I came up with this way to do the zip, which is great, because then you've just got that velvet there. And that's what makes it capable for, you know, people on any machine to do. So you don't have to have an all singing, all dancing machine. I would very happily get out my grandmother's 70-year-old singer machine and be able to make it on there. So really pushing out those corners. And that's why we've gone for the H640 on the front. So the Starville on the back with the cork is giving it the structure. But then if you want to put anything in it, this is where you've got a little bit of give for that. Okay, so we've got our zip now there. And then we've got our lining. You can sew up your turning through gap, that's fine. And then we're going to pop our lining through in there. Now, if you've got these in place, you don't want to, on most machines, be sewing through so many layers here. So what I'm going to suggest you do is that you top stitch from there round to the other side there, and the same at the back. So you're not top stitching all the way around. I just love this bag, look at it. Oh, this green. I'm not normally a green kind of a person, but this green I just find absolutely beautiful. If I actually push that bottom seam down, then we get closer to square. So, oh, can you hear Ruben? He's having a dream, bless him. Again, if you have got a machine where you can take out to do sleeves, do that, because it does make this bit slightly less fiddly. keeping that seam, he's having a proper good dream, isn't he? Keeping that seam on top. Just want to turn it under. And you can do this in a thread that is going to coordinate, so it doesn't jump out at you. You know, it's the same old, trying to sew in a contrasting thread so that you can see. And this just, by top stitching around, this is just going to allow everything to sit nicely. So I get up to there, and then I'm going to cross over and start the other side of it. So that will stand proud, but your lining will all be held in place because we've top stitched around. And it's going to look really smart. So you've got that top stitched around, and then all you need to do is just add on your magnetic clasp. So you want to find that center point. If you haven't used these yet, they are an absolute game changer. If I can indeed get them out of the bag. So let me just measure that through there. I would really recommend a pokey tool at this point, because what I will often do is part crimp it, because they come really wide. Just part crimp it down a little bit, just so that it holds a little bit better. And you can crimp these with big pliers, smaller pliers, whatever you like. And just put that over the edge there. These are just brilliant, so easy to insert. And you might have, if you don't like poppers, if you don't like the look of a plastic popper cam snap, then that's absolutely fine, because you can just, I've crimped that a little bit too much. But yeah, use your pokey tool to get up as far as you can in there. Okay, I would normally put a little bit of fabric or something over and then go in with my big ones. You don't have to go in with big ones, you can do it just with little ones. And then again, just mark your middle bit as you put this one in here. So everybody's way to put these in is a little bit different. I tend to just take that down a squidge, squidgy squidge. And then you just want to pop that in there. And again, get your pokey tool just to poke that fabric up into that fold of the clasp. That's how you're going to get your best effect there. And you can crimp it most of the way and then go in with the big ones if you want. If you don't have big ones, just stick with the little ones. It's going to do the same job. You'll just have to work your way along. And there you have, so that is then, that's your magnet installed, your magnetic clasp, and it just gives this little hint of hardware there, which I love. So I tend to match that to whatever I'm using there. I will give that a good press to keep that line down there. So we've got that there. If, I'm going to have to grab one and sort of see one over here. We have got now in all the cork colours, I think, or if we haven't, we will have by the end of the show. These are just fabulous. So to make a strap for this, I would just get inch wide webbing. Here. And we do kits with webbing and ends and all that jazz. We do these as just kits of 4, so you've got 2 sets of ends there. And on your, just trim that down. If you want to, you can just pop a little bit of tape on there. That's going to make it easier for you. You don't have to, but it does just hold it all in place. And then you can get some sort of, let me delve into my hardware department. Bear with me, caller. I'm pretty sure that I've got some hardware in here somewhere that will work. Oh, actually, do you know what? It's quite nice. And we've got these in gold. And I hadn't thought of it before. And that is, I mean, you can use those. I bought these in for the lanyards. But you can use this for this, and putting a split ring on there, which then means that you can pop a lanyard or keys or anything on there, use it as a key ring. If you don't want a D-ring, we do also do these with D-rings, and we had quite a lot of hardware with single sort of coloured ones, sets of 5 different colours. You'd buy 2 to get a matching pair. I did them more for lanyards really, which is why they weren't sold in pairs. And then you just fold that over. Make sure that they marry up and then sew around. And then you will decide how long you want this to be. So how long did I have this? But again, this is going to be personal to your height. There, and it's such an easy way then. And let you see, I've put a little tassel on there as well. I've gone with the gold ones of those, and then I could just on that split ring pop a little tassel, which I like. So let's make these handles. But we've used D-rings when we did the money and phone bag the other day. We did these with D-rings and they worked really well. So you might have some of those left. I just sort of narrow those edges so that it fits in, it just follows the shape of that, and then just fold it over, making sure that you've got it even either side. And like I say, we're just going to stitch around. What we will do when I get my screen back, there we go. So I tend to just stitch across the top. And then because I have basted them in place, there's no, can trim that back, but it goes in as simply as that, and you've got your handle end, they're done. And that's why it's important to make sure that they marry up so that you don't sew off from the other end. Again, you can use a thread, a nice beige thread that's going to blend. But we do these, we've got these in various different colours in terms of the webbing and hardware bundles. So then all that leaves you to do is just attach that on there. And that on there. And that is your bag made, done. Easy, simple clutch. Beautiful. And how different do they look in the different fabrics? Oh, you're looking at my camera, says Gemma. Sorry, forgot it didn't change. There you go. There you go. So that's, they look very different, don't they? Just in your different fabrics there. And then, of course, you could make exactly that, but with that mustardy colour as well. And the black zip. So you've got this option. If you want it just as a clutch, or if you want to make it as a clutch and put tabs sort of through there riveted with your hardware so that you're not sewing around that top there, and that would sit very neatly in there. You can do that if you're happy with rivets. Let's show you then, because this is just a slightly different way to put these together. So let's move these out of the way. I love that green, that soft, soft green, just makes me so happy. Right, so let's take a look at how we would do this then. So we start off in exactly the same way. We interface the back, we interface the front. And then we take a strip off our pocket here. And we're going to insert the zip exactly as we did. So up to this point, we can whiz through this bit. You know that it's a very simple, easy make. If I'm prepared to make 2 of them in one show, then you know that it's going to be easy. And some of you might prefer this method. Again, it's whatever you're going to be comfortable with. Doesn't matter which side of the pocket we do first. Ba, 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 ba. So we stitch down. So yeah, I think we will have all those combo makes, and then push that underneath. Okay, and then on the other side. I would cut your zip ever so slightly longer, and then you can trim it back afterwards. And flip that under again, and then we'll insert that zip pull. Before I forget, oh, I've come unthreaded. So then we will trim our zip pull back and insert the zip pull. And it's much easier if you do it at this stage before you have it attached to your bag. Might take you a couple of attempts to get it absolutely level, but it is just worth doing that just to make sure. It's not that it's difficult to apply it, it's just getting it to take there at the same time. More speed, less haste. Less haste, more speed. Which way around is it? Can't remember. And then we're going to pop that onto the top of your velvet. So again, decide which way you want the nap to go. Let's go that way so I can smooth it down. Put that face down. There. This would look beautiful in the Tilda as well. Just because I've used velvet, don't feel like you have to. This would look very, very beautiful in your Tildas. It's got that kind of feel, and I'm just going to sew down there. So right sides together. Down we go. Unclip, reclip. And then baste that down. There. So are we all good so far? And this is where it starts to vary ever so slightly. So we're going to take our lining pieces and we're going to pop them right sides together with our two outer pieces. I will trim that back a little bit. Right. So right sides together. I just enjoy. Beautiful. And you're going to sew just across those top edges there. And this is where I would start to bring in, if you've got a seam guide. They're just useful because you want to make sure that whatever you do on the top, you're doing the same seam on both, across the top of both. Open that up, and now we're going to go right sides together. Okay, just going to trim that a little bit extra off. I'm going to fold back and match at those seams so that that join stands the best chance to be at the same point all the way around. And same there. Oh, I've just puckered that stitching just slightly there, never mind. Okay, so I will leave myself a turning through gap, probably in a side seam, probably about there, but otherwise I'm going to sew all the way around after I've had a little sip of coffee. If you want to, start on the base. If your base is all lined up, and then work your way around from there if you want. Go steady over the zip. You don't want any zip-based situations going on. If you want to use a walking foot, then you can. Making sure that I'm nice and level at the top. Steady over your zip. And then snipping away any excess on those corners. If you want to make the seam allowance a little bit bigger, then you can, if that's going to make it more comfortable for you. And then finding that turning through gap, wishing you'd made it slightly larger, let's be honest, and turning it through, go to the furthest edge. So then, oh, start to turn through. This is such a simple, easy make, and it's, we made the money and phone bag the other day, but this can be made smart for nights. It can be a daytime bag, and it fits a bit more than just your keys. You know, you've got your keys, your wallet, and your phone in. You know, it's got a little bit more scope, while still being incredibly tactile. Yeah, I really should have left a slightly wider turning through gap. It's the same old, isn't it? Oh, but look at these colours together. Oh, they're so beautiful. They're just such a soft combination. Get your finger in there to ease out those edges. And then I'm going to there we go. So we have got our base there. And then if you want to make this as a clutch, then all you're going to do is put your lining in there. You can press it if you want, and then you're just going to top stitch around there and then pop your clasp on there, as we've just seen. So we can just top stitch round. Again, you can use a colour that's going to blend and not be glaring. Now, if you do want to use a favourite fabric instead, then go for it. You might want to put a little bit of medium weight interfacing and the H640 just on it. Have a go, have a little play, see what it comes up with. Again, if you've got one of those machines, I'm just really conscious I don't want to be sewing. If you have one of those machines where you can just insert a sleeve, that's so much easier at this point. And again, you'll sew up your turning through gap, you'll give it all a good old press. Right, I can do a little bit of that now. Okay, ready to then, it's my snippers, there they are. Find that middle point. To insert these magnets. So same applies. I would just squidge that down. Go easy on it, ever so slightly. Whoops, not that much. So this is why I say go easy on it, because if you have to try and sort of eke it out again. And I would protect them as well. And what do I mean by protect? Pop a piece of fabric over it, lining up that bottom bit, that round bit with my centre point. And then so I'm just getting that in up to the top of the fabric, up to that crease as quickly as I can. Oh, it looks so smart. I love these. They're an absolute game changer. I'll try and get more for you because I know that they do go quite quickly. But they really are such a game changer. So there we go. Right. That is all sitting up there because it's not quite so wide. So if you want it as just a clutch, then you have that option. How beautiful is that? And what that looks like then is you've just got it there. If you do want to go ahead and put D-rings on, you don't have to worry about, is it too late? You can change your mind and add them on later. Let me get a couple of little D-rings here. And I've not done this yet, so let's just see. I would make them, well, you can make them. Let's have a little play and see what that's like to add in afterwards. And again, if you've got your, oh, what's it called? Your coating stuff. Edge coat. You can edge coat this if you want. But you can always pop that in line there. And should we have a go? Why not? Let's give it a go. Ooh. I want to spin this around. Those of you that bought these, aren't they brilliant? No, I'm just going to turn that all the way around to that one there. And you can find your middle and make a clip through there. And if you are starting out, this might be the easier way for you to go, so that you're not, or if your machine doesn't want to sew through lots of layers, then again, this is another really easy alternative to inserting rivets and stuff like that. Let me just get that absolutely square. Okay. I would line the top of that up there and then mark where you need your square to be there. Now what I've got, and I've got some of these for you as well, they haven't actually gone on the website yet, and that's the Chicago screws, but with different width shanks, so that you can go through lots of different layers and that work. And this is where I would be reaching for one of those little screwdrivers. To screw that in place. That's also going to help hold your lining in place, and it might be that you prefer this version of it. Great, in which case do this version and you can still have the handles on there. And you don't have to do it right on the seam. You can do it just to one side if you're worried about upsetting your stitching. There you go. It just means that you've got to have a little bit more hardware in your armoury. That's all. But it just adds that little protective, that little professional finish. That I just think is so beautiful here. Oh, come on. The other one just screwed in instantly. And then this one doesn't want to play. There we go. I'll tighten that with my screwdriver later. Which means that, there we go. If you want to have your D-rings on the side, then you can. And it all looks very professional. On the side, I might even swap that out for the same style of cork. So that is how I would do it. If you wanted to have it as both. If you know that you're just going to wear it as a bag, then I'd do it the other way. But if you want to have that option, so that they don't sort of come out of the top, then yeah, that's your way. That's the one. And then you can add your handles on in the same way that we did with the others. So there we go. We have got. Here are our varieties. We've got the green one. We have got the pink version. And again, imagine that with. That's going to look really nice. And then we've got the black plain clutch. Black and yellow, and then ochre, ochre. And then we've got a bit of sparkle there with a bit of leopard print. So they're the versions. You pick ones, whichever colour you want. And you can see we've managed to do, what time is it now? Okay, so in an hour we've done 2 bags. That's all right. That's all right, that is. And you can make the strap to whatever length you like. So thank you very much for watching today. Tomorrow, oh, cameras, there we go, change the cameras. Thank you very much. I'm a little bit thrown. My monitor that normally shows me which angle I'm on is stuck for some reason after we did the Zoom. And technical support is away on a meeting today. So Sorry, that's why I keep forgetting to change the angles. What else do I need to know, Gemma? There were YouTube comments. Okay, YouTube comments. Sarah says, morning, Natasha and all. Great chat with Kaif yesterday. Glad you enjoyed it. Jane says, morning, Tasha and Jane. Jane's poorly sick, so she's not here today. Cynthia says, greetings. I will no longer keep my Kaif fabric on the shelf. We love a bit of Kaif. Tanya says, good morning, Sarah. Ginny's here, good morning. Ali H, morning Natasha, lovely to see Kaif. They were on really good form, it was lovely. Janet says, hi from deep France, looking forward to today's make. Will Gemma be returning? Miss your chats. As soon as she feels well enough. The big issue is the dizziness. She's not safe to drive at the moment, and she just lives that bit too far for any of us to go and pick her up in the morning. It would add an extra hour and a half onto our morning to do the round trip. She's still very much here and a part of the team, but just not here, remotely here. Oh, thank you, Blodwen. I watched the Kaif thing and I just felt I should say how great it was. That means a lot. Thank you very much. Kaif fabric is eye candy. Cynthia's actually going to use it in a project. Yay! Oh, Leslie, top tip for embroidery people. Wash away tape is great for holding stabilizer in the hoop. I did not know this because I do not do that, but thank you ever so much. Excellent. Oh dear, Reuben barking earlier has made Gemma's two dogs bark. Sorry about that. They do like a bit of a bark or two though. Anyway, that is today's make. Please do join me tomorrow when we're going to be making tea cozies in various sizes. And it's kind of a show of two halves really, because you've been asking me for the very lazy, scrappy way that I do. What do I do? My log cabin quilts. So we're going to do like mini log cabins, but for your tea cozies. We're going to make your own fabrics for the tea cozies. It will make sense tomorrow. Join me tomorrow. And I've also got them in different sizes depending on the size of your teapot. I love a cup of tea. I've got beautiful teapots. Join me tomorrow and we'll have a look at that. Take care. Lots of love. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye. Oh, remember to get your Tilda. Pre-order your Tilda because that is going to go super quick. I just know it. Take care. And we'll see you tomorrow here, 10 o'clock. Take care. Bye-bye.